Did you know Bigfoot was real at one point? Look, there was a Bigfoot-like creature walking around in China 300,000 years ago. It's called the Gigantopithecus, and it stood 10 feet tall and weighed anywhere between 440 and 660 pounds, which is almost double the size of a gorilla today. But from birth all the way to their time of extinction, their lives were unlike any other ape living today. See, you're a little ground ape, sitting in your mama's tummy, ready to get birthed. And that's when, plop, you get pooped out head first onto the ground. But what's weird is that as soon as you hit the ground, it's a bit cold. That's cause you were born in the middle of the Ice Age, which was 2 million to 300,000 years ago. You look around and realize that you're in China, Vietnam, or Thailand. Wait, who am I kidding? You're a damn monkey. You don't know where you are. All you know is that there are trees everywhere with some other ugly ass creatures like sub-nosed monkeys, langurs, gibbons, and orangutans near you. Now scared, you go in to hug your mama for comfort. Her immediate reaction is, "Boy, you're 33 pounds. I can't pick up your fat ass." So she drops you, and at this moment, that's when your parents hear a grrr. That's the sound of your tummy rumbling. It's time to get some food. At first, you wonder why your mommy and daddy aren't up in the trees finding food like the other monkeys you see. Screw you, mom and dad. I don't need you. I'm going to get my own food. So you run over to a tree and try to climb it. Bad idea. Smack! You fall to the ground. That's because Gigantopithecus are too heavy to climb up the trees. So you're stuck on the ground, little man, which is when you run over to the nearest bamboo you see. Snap it in half, then proceed to swallow it whole like what an OnlyFans model would do. Grrr, you're still hungry. So you continue to chop down on some fruits like mangoes, bananas, watermelons, and apples. Now you want to change it up, so you eat some leaves, stems, and some seeds too. See, your whole diet consists of C3 plants mostly. Okay, now I have to explain what a C3 plant is. A C3 plant is defined as a type of plant that produces a 3-carbon compound through the Calvin-Benson cycle, which basically means in simple terms that it's pretty healthy for you. These plants make up around 95% of all green plants on Earth and are adapted to regions with moderate sunlight, temperature, and water availability. At this point of your life, you're getting pretty big, like the size of your daddy now, if he was still in your life. And because of that, you're thinking of some grown-up stuff. And what I mean is every man's dream. It's clapping some cheeks! You look over at your potential victims and realize that all the fine ladies are only 6.5 feet tall and are literally tiny compared to you, since they only weigh 440 pounds. By the way, if you forgot, you're 10 feet tall and your fat ass weighs about 660 pounds. Anyways, it's time to make Dan Ban Jr. So you walk over to the cutest Bigfoot of the whole forest. Then, smack. You get smacked up by another Gigantopithecus for looking at his girl, and since you're obviously an alpha male, you challenge him to a fight, and the winner will get the girl. You see, between the male Bigfoots, there was a lot of competition for mating, similar to what we see with apes today. Now, you end up winning the fight and getting his girl. Then, this next part, I usually skip. Moments later, more females flock to you to get a piece, and since you're a player, you get with all the girls, which is pretty normal with the species. Now, after dumping out a dozen children with all these women, you're now a lot older, and I mean about 30 years old, which is about elderly age for us humans. And so you notice that it's getting a bit colder outside, and that the forests around you start to shrink. This is the peak of the Ice Age, where Earth's climate repeatedly changed between very cold periods and super hot periods, making all of the bamboo you love eating and those fruits start to disappear. You run over to the last of what is left. However, that's when you realize the elephants, deer, and giant pandas already ate everything left. Since you're so damn big, you need to eat a lot in a day just to stay alive. But unfortunately, you're never able to find enough to survive. So, as you lay down in the cold, starving, you realize that everyone you have ever loved is gone, including you. But luckily, this wasn't the end of your story quite yet. See, fast forward to 1935 where an anthropologist named Gustav Heinrich was in a drugstore in China. He's looking around at all the items on the shelves when he sees a strange set of teeth for sale. Being a doctor that specializes in this type of thing, it was honestly pretty strange to see something that he's never seen before. The teeth are definitely from some kind of monkey, he thought, but not like anything alive today. They were huge. This ape must have been massive to have these giant chompers. Very curious to continue studying them, Gustav picks them up, pays, and walks out the store having no idea the discovery he was about to make. The drugstore was actually selling the teeth as dragon bones to be used in traditional medicines. Anyways, after he buys it, he begins to reconstruct the head and skull of the ape over time, and what he discovered was truly shocking. They found out that there were many other findings of the strange teeth and jawbones around the Hong Kong area. They figured out that thousands of years ago, these giant apes, which is what the name of Gigantopithecus actually means by the way, would live in the hotter areas of Asia, which back then were even hotter. Now they may have gone extinct, but these giant apes are still around today. So let's talk about what they are really related to. According to this chart, the closest thing would technically be an orangutan, as they shared the closest common ancestor. And while the Gigantopithecus was similar to Bigfoot and had a really interesting life, it's nothing compared to the life of a titanoboa. Even though it's literally the biggest snake in human history, its life sucks. And if you want to learn why, then click on this video on screen. Like, come on, go watch the video.